Choo choo. My God. That is proof that an exciting finish does not make an entire race exciting. What's up, everybody? We once again went through for all that for an Austin Hill win, and I can already see the Atlanta defenders in the chat, you Atlanta Crusaders. Listen, it's not all the track, but the track plays a part. It all plays a part, and we'll talk about that in a bit, because we basically went 250 miles of train racing for 2 miles of just clusterfuck. That's the best way I can put it. That race was awful. That was a bad race, and I'm sorry. Anyone who says that wasn't a bad race, I don't know what you guys were watching. I wish I could have either what you were watching or what you were smoking. I get people, we can talk about the reasoning for it. I am fine with that, but that was not in any way a good race. Oh wow, NASCAR this week, actually, unlike the Clash, we got put ahead of bowling. How about that? Really quick, I said I'd do this after the last stream, and I want to make sure that I get it in here, because I'd feel like an a-hole if I didn't. So where's it at? I'm looking at the old... I want to see the super chat so I can read it off. Kylitos Corner left a $2 one. If Kyle Busch in the 7 at Vegas, are they racing for second? We'll find out. I promised you, though, that I would read your super chat, because I don't want to be a jerk and completely ignore it. As for this race, I take notes for every race that I watch. And I will admit the first 2 stages are very short because there's not much noteworthiness. I got to say, though, I feel so bad for Jesse Love. I feel so bad for him because that dude kicked ass today. He had the best car. And it was not his fault for the problems of both drivers, package, all of it alike. Led 157 of 169 laps. Nice. And he finished 12th. I see his interview. I haven't muted on the edge here, but that's just sad for him. And I feel for him. But I do think he's going to be winning some super speedway races this year. Read the super chats in a moment. But my God, that was just bad. Like, yeah, the finish you could say was exciting, but everyone running out of gas, you knew it was going to play full stupid. But this is the 2024 Raptor King of Tough 250. Could be King of Nap 250, but we'll just go with that. 169 laps, 2 hours and 18 seconds. The runtime, 11 lead changes, 5 leaders, most of that on pit road. 4 cautions on the day. So, I mean, it wasn't a wreck fest. That's a positive for you. But, that was bad. I'm sorry. I know I keep having to say it. You can say king of cowards. You can say king of whatever. I get the drivers don't make moves. But when the bottom line is not the strong line, I don't blame them for not making moves early. And the high line, if you watch the last 3 years now of Xfinity racing at this track, the high line is always the best line. I mean, it was that way at Atlanta, actually, even for the most part, before the reconfiguration. You got to keep it wound up, especially with these, the engine package with this. It's going to be better for the Cup tomorrow. I think Trucks was better, even if it wasn't great. But I do believe Cup will be much better tomorrow. I feel like this track was designed more for the next gen car than it was for anything else. But Jesse, we'll go through the finishing order of this race and then talk a bit more about it. Well, finishing order, and then we'll talk really quick about those super chats and then go through the race. A lot of choo-choo early on. Austin Hill wins the race, so let me check my notes here. That is the second race in a row I picked correct today, even though by all accounts he should not have won this race. I finished about 1/10 of a second ahead of Chandler Smith. Shane Van Gisbergen, 3rd place run today. Good for SVG. He should be in the top 10 pretty easily, I would think, of Xfinity points, which will be good for his playoff bid. As while we all think he's going to compete at road courses, wins are not guaranteed, as Jesse Love so unfortunately showed today. Sheldon Creed in 4th, 5th, Parker Retzlaff, 6th, Jeremy Clements, 7th, Anthony Alfredo, Jeffrey Earnhardt, 8th, then 9th is Ryan Truex, Sammy Smith, 10th, Sam Mayer, 11th, 12th is Jesse Love, the 16 of AJ Allmendinger. He's the one who finishes 13th, Brandon Jones 14th. Those are your lead lap cars. A lot of these other guys ran out of gas and were relegated to bad finishes. Riley Herbst, lap down, finishing 15th. Should have probably finished at least 2nd tonight. Cole Custer, 16th, lap downs. Lap down as well for Kyle Weatherman in 17th. BJ McLeod in 18th and 19th, Parker Kligerman. 2 down. Wow, there's a lot of guys that finished 2 laps down from 20th to 28th. Those are Brennan Poole, Leland Honeyman, Ryan Sieg, Jeb Burton, JJ Yaley, Ryan Ellis, Nick Lights, Haley Deegan, and Justin Allgaier. Next 3 finished 3 laps down. That's 29th place, Joey Gase, Blaine Perkins in 30th, Dawson Cram 31st. John Hunter Nemechek in 32nd, 4 laps down. So is Patrick Emmerling in 33rd. Garrett Smithley, 4 down in 34th. CJ McLaughlin, 35th, 5 laps down. And Kyle Sieg, 5 laps down in 36th. Josh Williams didn't park it today, but he might as well have. He finishes 37th, 10 laps down. And Jordan Anderson, the only driver out of this race. We'll put the unofficial results at the top here. No guarantee if NASCAR keeps them the same. But we'll just roll with it, man. We'll just roll with it. Thank you guys, by the way, all for coming in, all 450 plus of you. Really quick, get through a couple of these super chats. Irvin Alvarado, thank you for the 2. King of Super Speedway Hill. They put a clinic on the last couple of years. And again, he did not deserve the win tonight. His teammate deserved to win. But I think a lot of us knew that leading those laps, if it went to overtime, green, white, checker finish, we were looking at the 2 probably being at a disadvantage of anyone who wasn't a Ford. The Fords just flat out missed it completely. That surprised me. They all ran out. The 00, the 98, Haley Deegan in the 15. That really shuffled up the choo-choo train on that one. Again, I see somebody saying good race. I didn't see how it was a good race, man. I really didn't. We can disagree on how it got there, but and we can talk and give back and forth. I just don't know how the hell we can. I get people not liking Hill. Like, I get it. Because of the Martinsville deal, because of him winning so much, but damn, it's impressive. And if I'm not mistaken, we're going back to a place that last year, if I'm not mistaken, he won Las Vegas, right? I can double check chat. You probably put it in there before I have it ready to go. I'm looking at the NASCAR.com. Yeah, he won there last year. So I guess I could put this, and I know you guys, SVG 9th in points. That's awesome. I like seeing that. Let's start a poll really quick. Will Hill, nice, win 3 in a row? And I'll just give you a yes or no. Andrew, thank you for the 10. It's official. Austin Hill is the Kansas City Chiefs of super speedway racing. He somehow always wins. Yeah. At least you don't get to see Taylor Swift. Sly Supersonic for the 374. Austin Hill does it again. He is something else. Yes, he is. And his luck, his golden horseshoe up his ass is something else too. By the way, like up the stream, subscribe if you're new. We do this after every race, and we're almost to 500 of y'all. Let's get well over 100 likes, and let's just keep on rolling on the train. Train. That's basically what we got. Hunter Nixon Fishing, thank you for the 5. I'll be at the race tomorrow. Hope it makes up for both lackluster races today. I think it will. I got full faith in it. Chris McIntyre, thank you for the 5. Difference between today and Daytona 500 is second choo-choo line, tough to watch. The drivers were put in the position when if you move, you lose points, positions, all that. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk more in depth about that after we go through the race review part. And then Bobby Blair just saw you left that 5. NASCAR ruined a decent racetrack for this crap. Yes, Atlanta needed a repave, but a reconfiguration was unnecessary. Again, I think the Cup race is pretty good. And I think Cup will be fine. I think this was designed for the next gen Cup car. But the lower series, yeah. If it were up to me, especially the truck side of it, but I would even say maybe Atlanta for Xfinity should be the non-super speedway package. You gotta make whatever might work best for, each series. I know it's not continuity, and maybe people won't show up to the Saturday part, but yeah, 1972 Challenger, lick that like button. That's our little flair to it. And then Bryce Sizemore, I'll read this one, and then we'll head over to the race review. I literally was watching Walking Dead on Netflix and flipping back and forth. It was that bad. Damn. Well, I hope it was like season 6 on like earlier Walking Dead, because anything past season 6 is ass. Let's go through this race. I will read the rest of the super chats in a bit, but let's get the race review done. Jesse Love won the pole, took the lead. That was it. That's stage 1. Josh Williams had 2 flat tires and fell 7 laps down in the first 20 laps. Love won the first stage. Herbst second. Third was Mayer. Fourth was Ryan Truex. Fifth, Kligerman. AJ Allmendinger 6th. Seventh is Allgaier, not Allmendinger, Allgaier in 7th. 8th is Creed. 9th is Ryan Sieg, and Sammy Smith 10th. Question. Did any of you know that Anthony Alfredo spun through the grass at the end of stage 1 in front of the pack and nearly got into a wreck with others? Did anyone know that? Because I have friends at the track who were in my group chats and people I know who tweeted it. The 5 spun through the grass at the end of stage 1, and Fox never showed it, never talked about it. What the hell? As much as I am an Adam Alexander defender, the Fox Xfinity booth and Fox in general, when it comes to the lower series, wow. Like, as much as I think the Cup broadcast has gotten better, like, Fox got to get their act together, especially since they won't have as many races to cover and as many resources to spread thin, especially earlier in the year. This has to improve. And the commentary booth, I know there wasn't much going on, but man, if I had to hear them universally laugh at mid jokes over and over and over again, like the scissors that I have in my desk, like I would have thrown them into a wall. I wouldn't have jammed them into my ears just yet. It's too early in the season to do that, but they would have went into a wall. Good God, man. Like, I don't even mind the kids. Like, I don't even mind like showing kids having fun. Like, I really don't mind it as much. They've cooled it on that. That's fine. But it's like, man, like you're missing, and not even talking about spins and crashes, people having different problems. Like, did anyone actually hear about until after the first stage or going on Twitter, Josh Williams having the extra flat tire or different guys having, problems throughout the race? Like, come on. Like, come on, Fox. Like, I want to like Fox broadcasting, but and I do think I do think Cup is getting much better. I have not been harping on it as much. This was bad, and I think it took a bad race to really expose some of the major flaws that need to be really sewn up throughout the year. I kind of miss Rick Allen on these, like at least the truck ones, but I think he'd be good for Xfinity. They do need better camera angles. Well, oh, that's right. Yeah, I see. They're showing bowling right now. Listen, no disrespect to bowling. I have no disrespect whatsoever to it. I think it is a valid sport, and I think it gets way too much crap from people. But we can't wait like 5 minutes to give somebody who's like internationally known an interview? Come on. Come on. Like, I keep having to say it. Come on. Mark in the chat here. 14 of Yaley's radio. I just hope somebody has bail money because I'm going to knock Kyle Weatherman the F out. Spotter, I've got you covered. All right, I'm going to leave my Twitter tab open just in case that happens. I'm going to leave that wide freaking open because that if that happens, that's going to be fun. I like fights in NASCAR. We got beef. I'm going to end this poll right now. 63% of you say no, Austin Hill will not win Vegas, and 36% say yes, or 37 actually. Well, let's get to stage 2. So Fox didn't do anything whatsoever. Didn't even give a cookie to us for the Anthony Alfredo spin. They restart and Love gets the lead again, and we go choo-choo-ka-choo. Until we talk about the 14 spinning, getting tapped by Kyle Weatherman early in the race. That did happen. And then we restart again. Love versus Hill. And again, choo-choo-choo. We have Love leading the train. John Hunter Nemechek would hit the wall a couple laps later because of an accordion deal, but nothing really happened there. But we choo-choo all the way to the end of the stage for Love to win, Allgaier second, third Herbst, fourth Ryan Truex, fifth Sammy Smith, Chandler Smith in sixth, seventh is Custer, Hill gets eighth, then AJ Allmendinger ninth, and 10th goes Sheldon Creed, who I feel like at this point is becoming like the people's driver. That's how I feel like it with. Yeah. Well, yeah, put those beef emojis like Grover Cleveland in the chat. By the way, we're almost at 150 likes. Be sure to like up the stream. I will read those super chats after we get through the final stage here. Trust me, there's not much until like the last 10 laps. Allmendinger would take the lead out of the pits, and it would become, in my opinion, the most interesting part of the race because the most OP car is stuck in the bad lane. Like it or not, again, we can talk back and forth on it. The high line, come on, have all that beef in the chat. The high line was insanely good, and it's been good at Atlanta for a long time, pre and post configuration, but the new one it has as well. But AJ held his own for 5, 6, 7 laps, somewhere around there. Love finally got around him. AJ had lesser tires and lesser everything for the most part, and that's really what kind of did him in against Love in the short term. We again choo-choo train this bitch, and the top 5 do break away for a bit. There's a lot of gas saving going on in this time, and I think, again, if we had more engaging stuff going on throughout the day, I think a lot more of us would actually like the fuel mileage part of this race. And you could see, like, some of the packs backing away from the main pack. Top 5 break away. Then that pack backs up again, going over to back to the pack that fell away from him. And we just, again, they're playing these games, which I'm not too opposed to. I know Kyle Busch said it was like atrocious, embarrassing, million other things about the stuff at Daytona. I don't think towards the end of a race when you're trying to stretch fuel, it's that bad. So I do think that people are complaining about the fuel mileage aspect of this race a little too much. That's just my opinion on it. But I'm also somebody who's a big stand for fuel mileage races, so that might just be a personal preference more than anything else. But we are coming down to the finish. 3 laps to go. Everyone's thinking they can make it, and the Fords all run out. And when I say the Fords run out, I mean the 00, 98, 15 all run out at the same time. Look at all this meat we got in the chat. Everyone is going out and swinging their meat out in the chat. Nice. God, that's going to get clipped. But all the Fords just run out. Found on road dry, as in out of fuel. All the Fords are just done. So the caution comes out. Ryan Sieg is stopped on track as well. Deegan pretty much can't make it. She's coasting around. 5 end up staying out in this. And that is Love, Truex, Kligerman, Hill, and Allgaier. Allgaier bails out. He runs out of fuel before the restart. I'm surprised they even let him go green. They probably were like, let's just get this damn thing done with. But they do. They have a restart. It is Kligerman. It is Love. They are up front restarting. 48 immediately goes out. Sputters. Some others do in the field. Then goes Love. And Austin Hill just right through the entire pack, right up the middle, bonsai style. takes the lead and has just enough fuel not only to win, but to burn the freaking place down. And which he does, climbs the fence. Listen, you might not like him, but he had a pretty fun post-race, I will say. And Hill wins again. How many super speedway races is this now for Hill? Because this is an ungodly amount of wins at this point. This puts colleagues' dominance to shame. And you know what's funny is I've seen y'all in the chat and on Twitter and everything. This is how I can tell DEI was the gold standards, because everyone's like, they're the DEI of today. It's like, you're right. They are. RCR is. That 2 car was the best car out there. The 21 was probably, I think, was the second best. I think the 21 was about the only car that on their own, like the 2, could stick up there in the bottom line and keep racing. But man, this is, it is pure domination at super speedways for the most part. Yeah, the 21 definitely is the way Junior used to be. The 2 is definitely the way Mikey used to be. Damn good. It's basically whichever one you put out in front, they're going to win, as long as they don't screw themselves. But man, sometimes you're good, sometimes you're lucky. Yeah, same thing happens to really good super speedway racers in the past. But it's. I know it might not be fun to watch, but I have to admit I do appreciate just how damn good. Now, how good RCR is. Now, real quick, we're going to go through some of these super chats, and then I'll talk a bit about tomorrow. I do have my pick. I'm keeping my pick the same. I'm riding the momentum, riding the lightning in to tomorrow. But let's get through some of these super chats. Biff Gregel, nice name, for the 503. I don't understand how so many crew chiefs miscalculated the fuel numbers. It's probably just more a mystery of how much saved than anything. Because they knew they were going to be a little bit short. But I will say, yeah, a lot of them saying, oh, we're just 2 laps short that ran out with 3 to go. Yes, that is a Metallica reference. I appreciate good music. Scott McNew, thank you for the 5. Congrats to Hill for winning the BNSF Railway 250 presented by CSX. I love this, man. I love the fact that we were, 20 minutes into this damn stream and you still were putting trains in the chat. I should just have that as a member thing too, a specially made train emoji to put out. Chrome Diesel for the 2. They didn't interview SVG. Atrocious. Agreed. You want to grow the sport internationally. Both Fox and NASCAR alike want to grow it. You got to have international drivers get some attention, man. Irvin Alvarado, thank you for the 5. Jarrett, given there's a choo-choo theme, the Southwest Chief Amtrak train is the best line. I took to view the Southwest and going through Illinois. Nice. Yeah, I need Danny in here to help me out with he should have went to that race and simply posted it on his Danny B Trains channel. I hope NASCAR lets him make a video like that, because that'd be cool. Because it'd be fitting. Danny B Trains. I really should get Danny in here at this point. Did my what the hell? My if you have YouTube TV, sometimes it resets your channel, and I looked over and it was professional bowling, and then all of a sudden there were 35 to go in the truck race. PRN at least interviewed SVG. Nap Racing Fan 927, thank you for the 5. They should have repaved Atlanta in 2018 when the drivers voted against it in 2017. We'd still have old Atlanta. Should have done 1.5 super speedway at Texas. I do agree with that one. If you are going to do something new to Texas, please, for the love of God, don't do this. We do not need to oversaturate with super speedways. I find it funny, though, that NASCAR and everybody around it, we need to save money, but more super speedways are nice. I would like Texas to go back to its pre-2017 layout. I think that Texas actually was a really good track from about 2006-7 on. COT, Gen 4, Gen 6, didn't matter. It put on good racing. I mean, go back and watch the end of the 2015 race. It's a really good finish. The last 30 laps are really awesome. And the race is pretty good too. 45M mini stock New Zealand for the New Zealand 5. I believe that's New Zealand, or I'm just an idiot. Anybody else heard of this Shane Van Gisbergen guy? He could be a cup winner one day with performances like that. If there's a rain race, I'm putting like all the money on him. Agent Boyband SLG for 5. I personally think Hill is just always in the right place at the right time. Only wins at super speedways. Thing is, like, people said the same thing about Junior when he was doing well at him. Said the same thing a lot of times about Gordon. People I know said the same thing about the Roush Fords at times. You got to, being in the right place at the right time is a big part of super speedway racing, but putting yourself in that position too is important. This one was purely luck. Like, I'm just going to say straight up, this win was luck for Hill. Yes, he saved the fuel. Okay, that part isn't luck. But everything went perfectly for him in that overtime finish. And this is someone who does not hate Austin Hill. I am not some big, Austin Hill's the worst guy ever, rah, rah, rah guy. No, like, I don't mind him. But everything went right for him. If you're an Austin Hill fan, you got to admit everything went right for him. And then Justin, thank you for the 10, your 5th super chat on the channel. Another dark NASCAR day from when you mentioned that topic last week, October 24th, with passing of Ricky Hendrick and the emotional win by Jimmy a week later at Atlanta. So heartbreaking. Agreed. And I will say that was a great moment, though, at least heartbreakingly great, bittersweet, with Jimmy winning that race. I think if anyone else had won that race, it just would not have felt the same. Okay, we're back to bowling. As for the talk, though, about this race, if we want to do the autopsy, I guess. Maybe I should make that a segment on here. Like, we'll just finish it out. The autopsy. Like, what made this race what it was? I would say I will give... Maybe I should give, like, a pie chart of blame. Because you have definitely different parts. So drivers, I think, is a part. Track is definitely a part. Let's do that. How about each week, we either do, like, a pie chart of blame or a pie chart of praise about what made the race good or bad. I might start just doing it required only for the cup races, but if there's good Xfinity races or bad Xfinity races, we'll go with that. So let's do a pie chart of blame on this one. Drivers, track, package, and I think weather should be part of it. So let's do that. Let's just on the fly make up a new segment, and we'll start doing this during each at the end of each one of these. By the way, for those of you asking for my cup pick, I'm sticking with Joey Logano on this one. I was close on getting Brad, thought about Byron and Chastain, but let's see. You can't be happy. They wreck too much or it's boring. I can be happy. There's plenty of races I've liked. But you can disagree with me all you want. So I would say 10% goes to cooler weather. I think that's definitely part of it too. So I don't think that necessarily the weather itself is the reason why, but I think it's a contributing factor. As for, because I think four of the 4 main reasons, that'd be 4th. I'd say I'll give drivers 15% on this one. They did make the choices not to gang up on the bottom. I will give you that. I don't think necessarily, though, it was all drivers just being cowards. When drivers can make moves, they generally do, at least at some point in the race. And we went the first 160 laps with barely any moves whatsoever. There's a reason why they aren't making moves. All right, so we got 15%, I'd say, to the drivers. The next part, I'm going to give, I'll give 37.5% each to the package and track. Because I think that the track, of course, is the reason why we're having this kind of racing. The reconfiguration, of course, is why. So I'm not going to necessarily say that it's completely the track why and everything like that. I think the package, too, is because you can tell they do have to keep these cars wound up in the draft, everything like that. So I think it equal parts to track and package, a big part to drivers too, and I think the weather plays a little bit of a role in it. So 37.5 each, I believe, adds up to, I want to say it adds up to 75. And then you had the 25% of 15 to drivers, 10 to weather. That's at least what I would give it. It just was not a good race. That's kind of my overall on it. My pie chart of blame with all of that. This track can put on great races. We've seen it in the Cup Series. So for people to say this track is solely why Atlanta's ruined, blah, 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 blah. No, no. The truck race, I think, can put on all right shows. I think today was about the best you can get, which was mid-ish. I think that the Xfinity Series has probably the lowest floor and a good ceiling. The Cup race has the highest floor and the highest ceiling. We saw last year in the summer that the Cup race was awesome. So that's just my take on it. I get if people disagree, but that's what I'm going to give for it. Let's read the last couple super chats, and then I'll let you guys have the rest of your night. I don't want to take up too much of it with my mindless monologuing. Steve-O, thank you for the 5. Why doesn't NASCAR get rid of the current package of Xfinity and let them run the standard 1.5 mile package? Try it and see what happens. I would like that. Like, if there's one series that I think that not doing super speedway would for sure make it better when it comes to the packages at this track, it is totally Xfinity. Like, I think Xfinity would be top notch. I would love to try and you sly dog, you caught me monologuing. I would like to see the Cup at least have one race try. I would like to see a test done, and an actual test, not just like we did it for like 10 laps, didn't work. Sorry guys, got to stay with super speedway. Like I would want to see what this track could do. I do think as it ages, it will become a necessity to change from a super speedway package to an intermediate package. And listen, next couple of years, if the intermediate package stays as good as it has been, 100% go for it. And the NASCAR Fanatic 2425 for the 5. I say let Atlanta be a super speedway for Cup, then Xfinity and Trucks a full horsepower intermediate track. Goodness, I almost gave $300. Damn. If that happened, and you didn't mean to, and I give this to anyone who doesn't mean to, I just want to say this in advance. I believe there is a refund option, and if not, talk to me on Twitter, and I would be able to fix that. Because that I would not want to do that. But damn, I would have. You probably would have seen me just like wide-eyed it. But that's about it, man. I'm excited for the race tomorrow. I do think the race tomorrow is going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll be pretty good. Each Atlanta race to me gets better and better. So I'm still a fan of the old configuration. But I do like what the racing has become. I think 2022 was the first one I didn't really like all that much. Second one was better. Last year's spring race I thought was really good. And the one that got rain shortening, grant the rain was probably the big driving factor for why it was so good, but I thought it was a race of the year candidate. And that's what I personally expect going into this now. And thank you to Winter Soldier for becoming a new member. I appreciate it a ton. And new stuff for memberships will be coming soon. But that's going to be it, guys. Hey, one thing you can't deny with the new Atlanta track, makes you talk. You know, there's always something to talk about. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good night. I will see you tomorrow. And I think it's going to be fun. Later. Oh, wrong one. This is what happens when I have too many sources. I have like 30 sources here. Okay, now, goodbye. Have a good night. Choo-choo.